Welcome, everybody, to the Social Dig, the greatest underrated show on the World Wide Web. I am your host, Mr. Rob G. And as always, we're going to be digging into the topics that keep you talking and the talk that keeps you thinking. So come on in, kick your feet up, get an ice cold beverage, get ready to join the conversation. Definitely thank everybody for coming on out here tonight once again to the Social Dig, the late night calling show where we talk to each other. It's basically a spot for you to come in, talk about your experiences. And we actually have a great show tonight. We're going to actually throw a topic out there. There's been this new alien videos floating around. Pretty sure there's others out there. I'd be interested in seeing anybody else's videos. If you have them, you can make sure you send them to my Facebook. We'll bring them up during the show. Definitely want to go ahead and thank any and everyone who has stepped in the building here. Let me go ahead and scroll up my chat. It's not the easiest thing to get to, but I'm here. And let me see, who do we have? All right, looks like we have Joe Monk. Joe Monk in the building. Thanks for coming on in, Joe Monk. Also, Area 51. Area 51 has showed up here tonight. Thanks for coming on in. Also, we have, I know we had Deb from Sacramento. I saw her, and there she is right there. Deb from Sacramento in the building. Thanks for coming on in. We got T-Bone out there talking about check out Scott Ryder's analysis of the Compton alien. We may just do that here in the course of the night. T-Bone, appreciate you. Also, who else do we have out there? T-Bone, we got Woo Riders DG in the building. Woo Riders, thanks for coming on out. Appreciate you showing on up. And Flat Six has made it on in. Appreciate you showing on up, Flat Six. Thanks for coming to the show. As we get further down the list, David Norenberg is in the building. Says, what day is this supposed to be? I know. Because it's at midnight, I go back and forth between choosing the day or the next day. Yeah, I tried something new today. Probably revert back to what I was doing. Thanks for coming on in, David Norenberg. Also, who else do we have out there? Looks like we might be, okay, let's see. Different part of the elephant. Sup, Rob? Sup, different part of the elephant. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you showing on up. Rockin' Rory, same to you. Thanks for coming on into the show. And I think that brings us current, which is right on time because we're going to go ahead and jump into the slides real quick because it's so important that you put this in your phone book. What is that? It's the phone number to the Social Dig, 856-843-3444. That's 856-THE-DIGG if you're outside the United States of America. Dial 001 first, then 856-843-3444 or 856-THE-DIGG. As we go ahead and take a look at the show here tonight, definitely want to say what's up to our members out there. Memberships are available for the channel, and they do go so far to help this do what we do here. So appreciate all the members we have so far, which is T-Bone, the Beekeeper, D. Nunley, Maggie M10, Flat Six, Catherine Jones, Leanne Briggins, Polly Rotterman, Lil Camp 51, Frankie B. Fast Timmy, Deb from SAG, Race Fan, Magneticus, Woo Riders DG, Area 51, and Tamoth Man. All right, so kind of getting into this here, I just thought it'd be a cool thing to talk about. Obviously, everybody's seeing the videos floating around YouTube in regards to aliens in the backyard or aliens in Compton. And I thought it was at least fun to look at. I'll save my judgment and we'll go ahead and take a look and see what it is that we see. Maybe you see things I don't see and vice versa. And maybe we can debunk it, or maybe we can say, hey, this is something that we should keep on the list, or, I don't know. I really don't know. As we go ahead and look here, let's see. Very important to address, and definitely want to make sure that everybody knows. Said different part of the elephant says, I buy a membership, but as stated above, I just probably lost my job. Sorry to hear that. Different part of the elephant, and that's only one way to support. The basic way to support is just showing up here at the channel and having the conversation. That's really where the real support comes in. But it's the financial support obviously is helpful when we have to pay subscription fees and things like that to put on shows. It just helps. So either way it goes, I do appreciate it. Joe Monk, I appreciate you as well. Just any sort of help anybody does, whether it's financially or not, is fine with me. If you've been around here on this channel, you know that's never been the issue here. We still have the conversations that move the needle, as we are going to do here tonight. So, taking a look here, let me see here. So, the alien video. What is this whole thing cracked up? What is this video cracked up to be? Have you seen it? We're gonna hopefully not get flagged by the original posters of the video. Fair use, I guess, right? You know, I guess I could say that. It's originally from someone else, and the origin is a question mark, which is when we talk about chain of custody in evidence that's presented. This is where this matters, right? Because can't just be a mysterious video that showed up somewhere one day and no one knows where it came from. There is no track record. There is no chain of custody. So hopefully there's some chain of custody, but I'm not presenting these to say, hey, look, these are aliens. I'm just putting these out because it's a fun conversation to have. And I think that we could probably use logic, common sense, and a lot of the things we talk about on this channel to figure out what's what, or at least, get an idea if it's something that we should continue trying to figure out, right? So, with that being said, let me go ahead and take a look out here. We will actually just play the first video. Actually, this is the one. I actually have a couple videos that we can take a look at. And as I said before, if you have any additional videos that have you like compelled and you're like, I don't know, send those over to me on my Facebook. I'll bring them up and we'll try to check those out during the show. But let's go ahead and start with the alien video that was filmed here in Compton. Supposed alien, let's say that. Not definite alien, supposed alien video shot on a Ring camera out in Compton, California. Let's take a look. And shout out the Hidden Underbelly for putting this video out.
Okay, guys, we've got a piece of footage of what I can only describe as an alien-looking creature. So, guys, let's take a look at the footage, and then we'll have a real quick chat afterwards. Here's what I know about this footage. This was captured off this Ring doorbell camera at this lady's house on June the 6th, 2025, just after 1 a.m. Now, in the footage, we can see this alien-like creature. I mean, look at its head. It's a very weird shape. The size of the creature, I'm judging this at about 3 to 4 feet. And the color, this is looking like a bluey gray creature of the typical grays. Now remember, there are two types of grays. There are the tall ones and there are the small ones. But what could this be? Now, could this be somebody in an elaborate costume? Well, this would have to be a very small person. A child being out at 1 a.m. in the morning, that's kind of, I can't see that happening, but it's not out of the realms. But what do you think about this intriguing and weird piece of footage? So until next time.
Let me stop it right there because it plays for some more time, and I definitely want to make sure that once again to give the credit to the person here, the Hidden Underbelly, for putting the video out and giving commentary too. The commentary is appreciated, though we will also have our own commentary that will add to that. One thing I do like that he pointed out is the time frame being 1 in the morning. Just kind of going through the logical paces, right? The initial paces of, hey, let's break down and make sure that this even makes sense on the face of it. What details do we have? Let's make sure that we at least make sure it makes sense before we even entertain this any further. So awesome to him for that. Also, appreciate the support with the awesome super chat here, Deb from Sacramento. and it says Rob G don't care about the money, which is why we love to throw it at him. When he loves us, we love him. It is definitely all love here, and I have contemplated many a time on even making if this channel would be something that brought in monetary value. And the only reason why I really did it is because I want to make sure the show gets better and better and better, and that we have a better, production to put on for you guys. So, do appreciate your support there, Deb, of the show. And yes, ma'am, thank you very much. So yes, jumping back into the film, just like I said, here's a uh, frame of the video here where we've captured whatever it is, supposedly walking down the side of the house. It is captured on the Ring camera. There was some things, and I don't know if this gentleman will get into it or not. I want to kind of let this finish, in case he does, and then I have this looping a couple times with no sound. So we'll go ahead and talk about what it is that we see. We'll pause it, take a look at the chat, see what you guys think, and let's go from there. So let's finish the video real quick.
Next time, stay blessed and keep safe.
Oh, okay. Right. So he didn't really elaborate on it, but here's what I would say. There were a couple things when I looked at this that was like, you know, I'm look. Let's start with this. Let me just go back a little bit.
But what do you think about this?
For anyone watching this for the first time or catching this channel for the first time, I've had experiences, right? I had a UFO sighting, 48 or 47 objects in the middle of the sky, broad daylight. These things all disappear in the thin air. I've had, which is on film, obviously. I have phantom knocks that have happened at this house. No one at either door, caught on Ring camera as well because the dogs reacted and barked, which is why I got that on camera. Orbs. We have a side house here. No one. It's a vacant property at the moment because the daughter is out to school. While she was out to school, we caught orbs floating around the living room at this location. Okay, all on film. We have shadow people. We have a picture of a shadow person caught at this location. So all this evidence, all this footage. So just to start this off with saying, I understand the phenomena here 100% based on just what I've experienced alone and have proof of. So when I step in as a host of a show, I still try to keep a middle of the road approach, right? Because there's going to be a skeptical side of the conversation, and there's also going to be the experiencer side, and we want to entertain both. So I don't just want to sit here as someone who knows the phenomenon is real and just try to determine that everything that we see is real, because I think that's a problem that we have within the community. So just if you catch me giving a skeptical take, it might feel skeptical. It's only to challenge what it is that we're seeing. And I think that everybody should do that. I think that should be okay. So, with that being said, let's get further into the video.
Think about this intriguing and weird piece of footage. So, until next time, stay blessed and keep safe.
Okay, as I was saying a moment ago, and I don't know how I disappeared from the screen, but let me see here. What it is that we're looking at here is the Ring camera, obviously. Then we have the alien right there, right side of the screen. Kind of just pops up out of nowhere, but what I know about these Ring cameras, because I have multiple here on my property, they catch when something moves, when they detect movement. So is this something that walked right across the front view right there, right across the front porch, and then ended up on the side of the house? I don't know. More likely, this thing came up the driveway where you really can't detect movement and then caught the camera right there where you see it, where the frame begins. That's just my guess, obviously. Now, some things I was looking at first, I was like, it looks kind of pixelated. I'm not really sure if it kind of seems like maybe it was added in afterwards. And I'll go ahead and kind of play what I mean. If you look on the head of the creature, we'll call it a creature, why not? It comes in kind of pixelated. Now maybe that's just me But then I looked at it again as it's playing right now. I don't know if I can catch it. Yeah, right there. Did you catch that little what seemed like pixelation, right? I thought that was pixelation, and I looked a little further, and I'm like, okay, is it potentially the fence that we see sitting there with the says welcome, right? The light shining through the fence. Are we catching like shadow and then light, shadow, light, which is causing this little pixelation effect? Now I've said that, so let me play it back, and then you can figure what you think about that. But just kind of briefly looking through it, that's kind of what I got from it. As we play it again, you should see it happen here. Watch the head. See that little pixelation piece right there? It almost makes me feel like it has something to do with that lattice, with the fence and the holes in it. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think this is one of the best videos that you can get as far as clarity out there. One thing I will point to is if you look on the side blinker of the car, you can see something cover it by shadow. When I mean that by shadow, like if something was walking past it, blocking the light, and then as it passes it, it comes back into view. Tell me, am I seeing something there? These are the two things that I've gathered. Let's start it back kind of earlier so you can see what I mean. So pixelation, maybe it's the fence with the light, and then look at the side light reflector on the car as it passes it. Kind of goes out and then comes back in, right? Which is what you would expect. Now, could someone do this? Obviously, they could if they were trying to fake a film, but yeah, yeah, very strange. And in this video, he didn't actually show it here, which I'm surprised, but this video continues and it goes to a point to where this thing, I guess, walks to the backyard where you hear like a gate open up or close. And the person who owns this house, allegedly, apparently, is, this is passed through a lot of different sources, obviously, but allegedly, the person who lives at this house says that they also have ring cameras in the backyard, which I do as well, so I understand that, and that the ring cameras in the back did not pick this thing up, but the noise was heard. And apparently, the neighbor is relatives with this person and said that they heard noises at around 1 a.m., pretty late at night, after midnight. So you got to ask yourself, okay, there's enough there to at least start investigating the story, which is, I think, hopefully more and more comes out about this because this just supposedly happened on June 5th, which obviously is a few weeks ago. Um, I think that, I think that it's enough to kind of at least just hold it where it is, not maybe immediately throw the video out and just find out more about the individuals who filmed this, who they are. Maybe they're willing to come out and say something publicly. And because here's the thing, even if this video ends up being fake, in the end, in the grand scheme, at the very end, if this ends up being something that is fake, there are still other videos out there which are really, really compelling. And you have to ask yourself, if we go back historically and we talk about the Kentuckysville Goblin, right? I believe 1955, where the people who lived at that residence claimed to see these, first of all, a UFO fly overhead, multicolored lights, land somewhere in a forest not too far from the property, and then after not too long afterwards, these creatures come out of the brush with their arms up in the air, holding their arms like this, if I can do it like this, above their heads, walking out of the forest, these maybe 4 foot tall, uh, grayish, blue, whitish sort of creatures, big bulbous eyes. But one thing about them is they had these really big ears, floppy ears, big, like almost look like elephant ears, big floppy ears. And for me, that's not, I mean, not to say that's not a true thing, because I definitely don't have any reason to believe that the Kentuckysville Goblin incident did not take place. All I'm saying is that when you look at the extraterrestrial descriptions over time, we've done that on a previous show. You do see only one or maybe two that had ever been described with big ears. Usually it's okay, no ears, right? Or essentially it's no ears when you hear most accounts. No ears at all, or little holes where there would be ears, never full big ears, right? So it was something that stuck with me. We'll kind of get to that, but as I'm looking at this, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, hold on, we'll pause that for a minute. The reason why I'm bringing that up is that we have other incidents reported outside of this video of things that have been walking around. Virginia, Brazil. If you've seen Moment of Contact by James Fox, then you know the main character in the story is this extraterrestrial that had been essentially almost abandoned in the town of Virginia, Brazil. And these young ladies, three young ladies walking home, ended up coming across this being that was in the middle of the day, that was hunched over and kind of looked sickly, um, and I guess had a smell to it as well. Right? They went home, told their mom. They went back. It was gone. But the mother said she could still smell the sulfur sort of smell. Reportedly, this extraterrestrial was caught later by the policeman, who ended up being injured by it, cut in some fashion, and they think that he died from some sort of bacterial infection, an unknown bacterial infection, not known to this planet, right? So we have other incidents. We have the aerial school, which we always talk about here because I think it's pivotal and it should always be talked about, for one. But a situation where beings were described getting out of craft and walking on land, walking on the ground, right? Um, then we also have this video here, which is one I always go back to, and I will still stand on this video. You guys know what it is. It is this video, which is the Dobby video. This is one of the ones that I will always have to say, you got to explain this one to me. Like, you got to make this one make sense to me right here. So, we can get into talk about this because we've done that before, but what I wanted to do, something like this, which is really hard. I mean, their skeptics have tried and tried to debunk this one. The explanation of the kid with the underwear just doesn't fit the bill. If you've ever seen the comparisons, just doesn't fit the bill. So in my eyes, for this particular, whatever this has never been a confirmed situation right here. So it's still one of those that is neither confirmed nor denied. Truthfully, as I said, there hasn't been anything that fully debunks this here. The family has never turned around and said anything different than what they experienced, and the video is still compelling, and it still doesn't look like a kid with underwear on his head. So just showing you this to show you, and then when you put this against Kentucky, that's it, Kentuckysville, right? Yes, Kentuckysville, where the extraterrestrials are coming out the bush, raising their arms, kind of silvery, whitish in description, big eyes, big floppy ears, walking towards the house, terrorize the family for the whole night, trying to get into the house, popping up in the windows, looking through the windows, climbing up on the roof. They had to fire shotguns at these extraterrestrials. The report was, and the report is in the paper from that time, if you go back and look, these extraterrestrials apparently were being hit by these bullets and floating, flipping backwards, floating, and then they kind of fell on their feet and ran into the forest. So not being affected, it seemed like, in any way by gunfire, but just another case. And that's what I always say when we're trying to figure out something we don't really understand, like the phenomena, you got to look at other historical cases and try to line up data that you have with something that happened in the past. And so if we're going to go down the Kentuckysville road and say that that was authentic in the way that it was reported and investigated at the time, that you got to be open to other times when an extraterrestrial might have been walking around on the ground, right? What if we land on a planet tomorrow? We go to Mars. The plan is to go to Mars. We go to Mars as human beings. We've technically never been on that planet, even though I think we probably have. We technically haven't never been to Mars, right? When we get there, we're going to get out of our craft and we are going to walk around. That's what we're going to do, right? I think anyone here can pretty much say that's exactly what we're going to do. Maybe not immediately, but the end goal is to stand foot on the ground of this Martian planet. So why in the world would something that was coming from somewhere else to here not ever get out the craft? So I think they do. I think that's pretty much what we're trying to say here. So when you think about Kentuckysville, you think about this video right here, which happened in 2019 in La Junta, Colorado. Then you think about this latest video, which is supposedly from a few weeks ago, right here in California, where I'm at in Compton. Then you have to, that's where you start doing your vetting and start trying to figure out what's what. Okay, what lines up, what doesn't? Okay, let's hear the story. Is it similar to the other person? What can we kind of gain from this? Does anything connect? Right? And then we kind of move further. So it's so new that it's going to be hard to do that right away. But I want to go back to the video now. So we've seen Dobby. Let's watch Dobby come on, which they call it Dobby because it looks like Lord of the Rings character, the Dobby ET. Not a human, not a kid. I don't care what anyone says. There's been nothing that's pointed at that shows that that is a human at all. Everyone agrees that it's real. Let's go there. Even on the debunking side of this, everyone agrees that what you're seeing is real, but there's just differences in opinion on what they think it is. Some people are saying it's a kid with underwear. They Inside Edition came out there, put them side by side. It's not a kid. If you are any sort of video analyst, you take this video and you break it down frame by frame. You're going to see frames that don't make sense. You're going to see frames that show the arms or the fingers, the tips of the, we'll call it fingers, I'm assuming is what it has, maybe, or hands, that the tips are hanging past the knees in some cases. And there's no kid that is built that way. There's different, if you look at different proportions in different frames, you will find multiple things that are going to point you towards, yeah, definitely not a human, but then now what is it? Right? Because you can go down the cryptid path, you can go down the extraterrestrial path. You don't see where it came from, so you don't necessarily know that it's an alien. But the thing that lines up is the 1955 Kentuckysville Goblin. That lines up a lot with what we're seeing here. Now, going back to the Alien Compton video from a few weeks ago, am I seeing that? Not necessarily. I don't see any ears, anything sticking out. But does that mean, or does that not mean, that what we're seeing is not the same thing? It's the same color. Let's start there. That's at least what we have. So let's listen to the Hidden Underbelly kind of give his little analysis on this, and then we'll jump back into talking about this. Shout out to Hidden Belly for procuring this video, and that's how we're able to watch it. So check it out.
Okay, guys, we've got a piece of footage of what I can only describe as an alien-looking creature. So, guys, let's take a look at the footage, and then we'll have a real quick chat afterwards. Here's what I know about this footage. This was captured off this Ring doorbell camera at this lady's house on June the 6th, 2025, just after 1 a.m. Now, in the footage, we can see this alien-like creature. I mean, look at its head. It's a very weird shape. The size of the creature, I'm judging this at about 3 to 4 feet. And the color, this is looking like a bluey gray creature of the typical grays. Now remember, there are two types of grays. There are the tall ones and there are the small ones. But what could this be? Now, could this be somebody in an elaborate costume? Well, this would have to be a very small person. A child being out at 1 a.m. in the morning, that's kind of, I can't see that happening, but it's not out of the realms. But what do you think about this intriguing and weird piece of footage? So until next time, stay blessed and keep safe.
All right. So with that being said, what I'm feeling like, right? And I saw a comment here, and we'll go ahead and bring it up about the alien Dobby video, the one we showed in the parking lot. I mean, walking up the driveway, the other alien video with the big ears. So different part of the elephant says the video of the little kid with underwear in his head probably more believable, but it's still just a little kid with boxer briefs on his head. This is where I'll challenge you on that. And here's what I say. I would say, and this is what I always say, I've done frame by frame. I've viewed the video frame by frame. I challenge you to do the same thing, because what you're going to find on this video is there are multiple frames. There are multiple frames where the proportions don't line up with a human kid. The only thing that does is the height. And we've heard, obviously, extraterrestrials are rumored to be 3 to 4 feet in height, usually. So is it just this kid who is in his growth ages decides, okay, I'm 4 feet tall. Let me pretend to be an alien and walk down the driveway. Like this, do you think this kid is consciously thinking this? The only people that live at the home, as far as we know from the Inside Edition report, is him and his mother. The kid at the time was like 9 years old, I want to say, somewhere around there. And they interviewed the kid. The kid seemed to not be lying about saying that it was him. The mother says there's no chance it was him because, for one, I don't let him outside past a certain time. When this happened, he would not be outside. That's what the mother said. And then on top of that, you know your children or you know your relatives on video. If I showed you a video of a close relative of yours, regardless of what kind of whatever they were wearing, you would know by their walk, you would know by certain mannerisms if this was somebody that you knew or not. You would know. There's too many things that go besides the fact that if you look at it right there, you're just thinking underwear on his head. So besides that one little thing right there, there's 10 other things in the video that say, nope, doesn't line up. And I'll show you one of those things. Let's go back here to the beginning of the Dobby video, and we're just calling it that because that's the name on the internet. But if you go back, as it walks past the car, just notice the car. You can tell different coloration within the car. You can't see the color per se, but you can tell what's darker than the color of the car, right? Like the windows, for instance, you can tell they're probably tinted. You can tell that the car is likely not black, but probably a lighter color than black. You can tell these different variances in the video by itself. You can see lighter shades of tone. You can see darker shades of tone. So if that's the case, and you can agree with that, you're looking at this, you can see that there are different tones in this video representing different colors, you would assume. Then why is this object that walks down the driveway all one color uniformly from head to toe? Why is only this object uniformly one color from head to toe as we watch the video? Okay. Why is that object one color from head to toe, but the car is in full focus? Tell me how that works. I would want to know that. That'd be question one. Question two is this could only be possible if whatever this is had on a full bodysuit, a uniform color bodysuit from head to toe. Now, if you told me this kid had a full body bodysuit that he put on and he's wearing outside, and that his mother hadn't fed him for about 6 months, which is why he's abnormally skinny here, then I could probably go with it. But there's too much evidence that goes against this being a human being. And at first glance, if this is your first time seeing it, or if you've seen this before, but you've never broke it down frame by frame, I would challenge you guys. It gets real interesting. Like some of these movements that it makes when it makes those wide steps at the end of the driveway, if you look at those frame by frame, like this, for instance, make that make sense. Make that make sense. There's a couple of different frames. I don't know if I can catch them here on the video. I'm going to try to. Okay, in this frame, look at the tip of the right hand or arm. It's 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 hanging down way past the crotch of whatever this is. How is that possible? How could a human boy, 8, 9 years old, have an arm that long? And that's not the only frame. There's additional frames in this video that make you have to kick back and say, Joe Monk, Dobby is not a kid. And here's the thing. This is the crazy part, right? I would never be one to just jump behind any video, but due to the fact that when I found this a few years back, I did all the digging on the internet because I was like, somebody had to debunk this, right? It's debunked, or if it isn't, this is the craziest video out there. And so I went online and I looked and I looked and I looked and I found a lot of pages where not just YouTube, but just on the internet as well, where people went through different analysis and had different viewpoints. And the only thing that they came to consistently, the only thing that was like, this is what it is that, yeah, it's real. What you're seeing in that video is real, but it's a child with underwear on his head. Why underwear? Why underwear? Make that, see, that's let's go down just the common sense route first and make it make sense. And then I'm like, okay, let's talk about it if it makes sense. But if it's like, it sounds more like a grab when you want to just say it's a kid with underwear on, it says too many things to say no. And any of you can get, there's software out there that will let you take this video and look at each and every frame of the video. And when it gets down towards, even before, but when it gets to the front of this car and does these weird things with his feet, first of all, the feet are pointed out in separate directions. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that the hand is hanging way lower than the crouch. Let's talk about that, or the crotch. Let's talk about the fact that it's uniform color from head to toe. And if it was a child with underwear, regardless if it's on Ring camera or not, a child or a person is not going to come through as one uniform color from head to toe. We all have Ring cameras that can vouch for that. So if all that's being said, and you take all that away and you realistically open your mind up and look at this particular video, I don't think you can walk away feeling that this, or agreeing that this is a kid. Now, what is it? That would be to be determined. No one knows what it actually is, but I think we could all agree, if you analyze this video, that it's real. For one, it is actually in this frame, in this video, and that two, it doesn't line up with anything that's human. So if you have other options or anything else that could fill the gaps, let's talk about that. Let's bring it forward, because as it stands, this has not been debunked. This particular video has not been debunked. So you got to just keep that in your bag here, because for one, the problem within the community is we throw away good evidence. We throw away evidence we probably shouldn't throw away just by rush to judgment, right? And so one day will someone have an explanation for this? I doubt it, truthfully, because it's been 6 years so far and still nothing, right? People when this went viral when it first came out back in 2019, when the lady put it right on the internet. This wasn't something that was released at some point. This was released on the internet, on the woman's personal social media account, the mother, asking people, "What is this?" On the same page, she also has videos of deer standing in the same area. Deer, because across the street is like a uh kind of like a outdoors sort of area. It's a lot of trees and brush and things of that nature. Where they're at in La Junta is deer are present. So there's wild animals present within the city. You wouldn't be shocked to wake up and see a deer in your front yard. That's where they live. And you just have to go down the pathway of why would someone do what she's done. If I monitored her social media because I'm friends with her actually on her social media, and she has never this. If you go back and look at the comments on this video, when as she initially released it, friends of hers are chiming in on the picture. Her friends and family members are chiming in, and they bring this up occasionally. But I think it's one of those things where, when this came out, it went so viral that you had so many, that initial rush of debunkers, I think is kind of what made her kind of step back from it, right? The same way with the Las Vegas aliens. It was presented, the guy just told his truth, and then got bombarded with debunkers and people wanting to come check it out, that they were just like, you know what, forget it. Let me step back, and I don't even know if I need this attention or want this attention. Even though it happened, I don't know that I necessarily want every single person that is inquisitive to show up at my doorstep to ask me questions or want to take pictures or do those things. It makes a lot of sense, especially if you're on that end of it. Everybody wants to know, but just think about how many people want to know, and then multiply that, and then that's what the person is going through or dealing with daily, at while this is a hot topic. So think about all that. But this video in particular, take this one. I would love for everybody out there, anybody who even thinks twice about this video, break it down by frame. If you see something that's just a dead giveaway, like, oh, this is a human being, show it to me, because I can show you for sure, but I don't have them with me right now. But I took all these frames, the ones that were strange, and I did present them in a video I did like a year or so ago about this particular thing. So the video is out there, but I don't have the frames on me. I'll redo it again if I need to, but there's too many frames in this video. So when you see this, it's like, wow, we can't figure out what this is. We don't know. It's not human, but what is it? Then when you get another video like this is where you have to at least think about it, right? Before throwing it away. Because once again, I think this could be very well be a hoax video right here. Could very well be a hoax. Or it could potentially line up with something that you just saw in that other video. That would be, if you have one video, I think that's enough proof to show that these things walk around. But not just the video, you have accounts from the incidents we talked about earlier. Just evidence that these things, whatever they are, have walked on this planet. Hopkinsville, I said Kentuckysville, it's Hopkinsville. Hopkinsville, Kentucky goblin is the one from 1955, and that is the one that fits the description of that, what they call Dobby extraterrestrial. Big floppy ears, uniform color, approaching and trying to get into a house, which that one was. That one actually, when the film started, was walking away from the front door. So it attempted to get in, whatever it was, which mimics the behavior of the 1955 incident. And those two, if you go back and do your research on the Hopkinsville, Kentucky extraterrestrial or goblin, you'll see in the description and things that they've written up about it, compare it to the Dobby video, and I think you'll be kind of blown away with maybe those are the same things. That's the conclusion that I came to. And the only reason is because of the floppy ears, the behavior of the trying to get into the house, and the description, the uniform color from head to toe, and the ears, and the fact it was trying to get into the house. Same thing that happened in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, 1955. So do your research on that one. It's a good one. And the thing is that if those can even be considered, then now we look at this video and it's like, okay, could this be something maybe connected to that? Is this the same type of entity that we're seeing, or is this completely a hoax? I think we're too early to know, but kind of breaking it down, as we said, it kind of looks pixelated right there, which concerns me. As far as I'm no video expert to know if someone added something after the fact, but that would be a question I would have for this part of the video right there, where the head kind of blurs out. But as I said, it could be simply the reflection from this fence or the shadow as he does the back and forth on it, right? And then you get the reflection on the side reflector of the car, which after it walks past, kind of you can see the light kind of shine back on it again. And it's like, okay, is that enough to say that it was there and present? I don't know. Very weird, very strange. The alien in Compton. Did anyone see anything with that? Okay, different part of the element says that video is 1,000% a little boy with boxing briefs on his head. Come on, I would be with you, but show me a video that makes sense. Show how many kids with underwear on their head have you seen that you're able to line up with that? And that's probably a question that they'd ask you why you're all of a sudden seeing these kids with underwear in their head. I'm just saying, look, I've never seen a kid walk around with underwear on his head. Even growing up, we didn't do that. But this kid literally put underwear on his head in the inside edition video to do a comparison. And the comparisons look nothing alike. So where do you go with that? That's all I'm saying. Where do you go with that? This is something too, and we can all star this and we can add this into it, because really there's too much that says that these things are. Let me see. Yeah, I said I'm sorry. I cleared that up, Joe. My bad. I was knew it was wrong when I was saying it. Kentuckysville. I was like, it's not Kentuckysville. No, it's Hopkinsville, Kentucky. But Joe Monk seems to think that is not a kid with underwear on his head. So there we go. Let's see. Oh, please tell me what the family did say. Because if I missed this, and I've done extensive research on what the family said, so let's see what the family said. Let me find different part of the elephant's comment here. Yeah, this could be AI. There's no doubt about that. Possibly the Dobby, not possible. AI. We weren't even using AI. It wasn't even being used. Let's see. Steed wants someone to show him the underwear. Polly making a great point. That little one is a very peculiar walking. Body language is very important, in my opinion. The problem is that with AI, you can make everything now. Yeah, see that'd be cool if it was a current video. The video went viral in 2019, and we actually weren't using AI commercially or publicly at that point in time. If anyone knows the history of AI wasn't even doing things like that in 2019. So let's take and that's the problem with today, right? Because now AI gets thrown in there now is the new excuse, right? It's AI. Not that someone edited something into a video, which would be the previous accusation. Be like someone added that, which there's tools that we can use to detect that. But now a lot of people just going to AI, like, oh no, it's AI. Well, we're glad to know that this happened before AI. Now, this latest one, maybe that's still not out of the woods yet. I don't think that one's out of the woods yet. There's a couple things that make me ask questions about it, um, and I'm just not there on it yet. Let's see. Let's see here. And I'm just scrolling through the list, trying to see if anyone else said anything about this here. As I'll continue to play the video. This is the latest video. Once again, everyone, this is the alien Compton video, Compton, California, not too far from where I'm at. Supposedly, allegedly, someone had filmed this entity on their Ring camera, and this is the video from that. So this is allegedly. I would not put any stock into it yet, although I can point to a couple things like, maybe. And then I could point to a couple things like, I don't know. I don't know. That's the beautiful part of being open minded. That's how we get through this. That's how we figure all this out. It's just being open minded, not being closed minded. If this is the first time you saw this video, there could be no immediate no, because if there's an immediate no, that means you're not doing your due diligence to make sure that it's what you're saying, right? You can't tell me the steps that you took to determine that it's either authentic or unauthentic. And I think that's the part that's missing when we're dealing with, videos and things that come out. What did you do to determine that it wasn't? Or what did you do to determine that it was? And I can tell you with the Dobby video, I've done some groundwork on it. It's not just a video I'm looking at and saying anything. I've taken it frame by frame, and I've seen some frames that make absolutely no sense. Nope. This is the typical art. This argument has been determined and debunked. See this argument you have right here, a different part of the elephant. It's a little boy that left out the door. You can see the light change and the door open and shut. So you're taking the fact that the door opens and shuts, be it's a little boy coming out the house. Have you considered that the light turns on and off because something came to the door, couldn't get in, and then walked away? So let's take the same argument. Let's take the same conversation where it seems like you're just grabbing that, because that's what all the people who reviewed it initially did. They looked at it. They went through all those processes. Said, no, it's a little boy. He's coming out the house. Oh, he has flip flops on. It's a little boy with flip. All those things have already been said. And see, that's what you get from an initial look at it. But until you do a breakdown of it, it's I would understand more if you're like, hey, look at this frame. This frame is clearly a kid. You can see this. And we're talking about frame by frame breaking down of the video. And I just don't see that I don't see that that's what you're bringing with this argument. It's got to be more. Now, this one, I'll say, like I said, this one's brand new. I haven't done really too much. This came up on my radar like in the last couple of days. So I can't really say much about this. This is what everyone's raving about right now. but I will tell you this. Ah, good point. Good point. This is what brought me about the Kentuckysville or Kentuckysville. I keep saying that Hopkinsville ET argument, right? He's saying so these aliens can float people through walls, but this one decided to use a storm door to enter and exit at a home. Are you really thinking that through though? Are you really thinking that through? Because if you've done research on extraterrestrial encounters, you will find that not all of them are encounters that happen where these things float through walls. Example being Kentuckysville extraterrestrial. These things tried all night to get into these people's house. If you know the story, if you don't, you should go back and research that story. Different part of the elephant, and this is just educational purposes, right? Because we don't want to say things that are untrue, right? We want to say things based off of historical knowledge, things that we've acquired over time, right? This story has been there since 1955. This was a prolific incident where the extraterrestrial encounter, these things could not get in the house at all. They could not walk through a wall, right? That's one of the things that kind of made that links up to this Dobby thing, because if it is a video where it's picking up this thing walking away from the front door, then it would mimic the same behavior. And when you have a few different things, you can't continue to say it's coincidence. But when you have the same type of description, you have the same type of behavior, and we're talking about an obscure case, because just like you said, extraterrestrials are supposedly able to walk through walls. We've heard that some of them can, right? We've heard that some species of those can actually do that. I don't know. I can't say that, but I can say there is a case, a prolific case, one of the most prolific cases in ufology that shows a time when whatever they were could not physically walk through walls or walk. So that's what I'm saying. So if you go back and research that, you'll see that and maybe think about it a little. It's about opening your mind up to things you may not know. Maybe you didn't know that, right? And that's fair. That's fair. None of us knows everything here. That's why we get together so we can try to figure this out. Let's see. It's uniform because it's in IR mode. That doesn't even make sense. Different part of the elephant. You got to make your argument make sense. The house and the gutter are one tone as well. The fence is also lightly colored. The fence is lightly colored. You can tell that the car is darker than the window. What I'm saying is you have zero. So unless the kid is wearing the same color underwear and the same color shirt, the same color pants, and something around his neck, because the skin tone is also going to vary from the garment on his head and the garment that he's wearing on his body. You still have a neck area, so there is no skin. You're looking at the hands and the feet. So unless this thing, as I said earlier, is wearing a full bodysuit that's one color from head to toe, then the argument that you're making doesn't make sense. I think you're fleshing this out here in the moment. Take this offline, look at it, and then come back to me. Break it down, look at some frames, and then come back to me and talk to me about it. Mom claimed this is the same person, different part of the elephant. Mom claims her kid wouldn't be outside at the time, but she wouldn't realize that a creature was inside her house, opening and shutting her door. So the door was locked, different part of the elephant. So of course she would hopefully notice something was in her house, but the door was locked. All right, the door was locked, which it should be at 9 o'clock if the kid is in the house, right? Wouldn't your door be locked at 9 o'clock? That's what I'm saying. Let's instead of just this is what I'm saying. Instead of taking time to kind of really process the information, kind of just throwing things out there. And I have an answer for you because I've done research on this one particularly, so I can give you answers. But At the same time, this is where you're supposed to do your research to kind of come to a determination. No, it's never been debunked. Never been debunked. Could be an elf. Could be an elf. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be extraterrestrial. Could be cryptic. Could be anything. It's just what we know that it's not a human being. Let's just start there. Now, what it is, there's a million things that it could be, but it's definitely not a human kid. I think there's enough there to say that and kind of be able to move away from that and say that it isn't. Now, like I said, you have the video right here. You can always take it, break it down. I encourage you to, because I would like to see if you found something. If there's something you could point to that says, yeah, look at this or look here. I would love to know. But with that being said, just knowing that they have that video out there, knowing that this new video has come out, do they look exactly alike? No, they don't on the face of it. They are both a uniform color. People have reported extraterrestrials of being this lightish gray color. And there are people that also claim that there are different species of extraterrestrials out there. I've never seen them, so I can't say that they are, but you would assume if there's one, why wouldn't there be more than one, especially with the different accounts that people have given? So just taking evidence and going down that path, I think, is uh, a good way to kind of go about it. And here's the thing, because if you're a person that has had an experience, how would you feel if you threw away evidence of an extraterrestrial presence or something not human walking the earth just because you kind of in the moment throwing things out there, right? In the moment, kind of just throwing things. Well, it doesn't. Well, be good. Well, no. Well, this or that. How would you feel in the moment throwing out things that could actually be considered valid? You know, and I think it's on both sides of the conversation. Whether you're a skeptic, whether you're not a skeptic, there should never be a rush to judgment is the key here. There should never be a rush to judgment. You should always be able to go through the paces and say it's not this because of this and then have evidence to present, or say no, it's this because of this and also have evidence to support your conversation, right? I like this. If you don't do your research, you're already wrong. That's it's where it starts. Research is key. In our community, we have to adopt that. We have to adopt that mindset that we should be all be doing the research that we can do. We should all be doing that on every video that comes out. That's why we're even looking at this, because I would never show this video particular. It's brand new. I can't I haven't went through the paces. Someone may have already debunked this, and I just haven't seen the video. We're looking at it because it's interesting. It's the thing that people are talking about right now, and I think it's worth bringing up because we know, based on other accounts, that extraterrestrials have walked on the surface of the planet. So if they have at one point in time, it only makes sense that they would at a different point in time, right? That's the thing that we could probably say with assurance. So then you go from there. Then you go from there. So I think I have, let me see. Obviously, it's these videos. I brought out the Dobby one because this reminded me of it in some aspect, just kind of the whole setup, the scene. That's why I even brought the Dobby video back out. But I think it also drives home a point that there may be things out there that may walk past your house or attempt to get in your house. And if this is really a thing, it's definitely something that people should know about. It shouldn't be something that is just talked about in these chat rooms. It should be something that a lot more people know about, right? Same thing with Bigfoot, Sasquatch. I'll say the same thing there. If Bigfoot is out there, then people who don't really get into the subject and they choose to take their family out into the woods for a great weekend and skiing and whatever they're going to do, they probably should know that there's a chance that they're going to run into a 10-foot tall, hairy something that can do, potentially bad things to them and their family. Because if they knew, then maybe they don't take the trip. It gives you a chance to control what happens within your life with the knowledge. So the knowledge piece alone, it allows a family to say, hey, you want to go to the woods? Like, I don't know. There's bears out there. You want to go to the woods? I don't know. There's mountain lions out there, right? You get to make those conscious decisions. But you should also be able to say, I don't want to go because there's Bigfoot out there, right? Because we've found evidence of Bigfoot and Bigfoot's out there. That should be a thing. You shouldn't allow people to blindly walk out into the forest and not know what's out there, because you don't want to tell anybody or you want to keep a secret. I want to know. Shit, I don't even focus on, Bigfoot is the main topic that I cover, but I want to know. If I'm going to the forest, I want to know what's out there. Anything that can harm me potentially. And Bigfoot would be on that list. Evident, with just it being a 1,000 pounds, 10 feet tall, pure muscle, all those things, right? So that's enough for me to be concerned enough to want to know if something like that is out there or not, because I want to be on the lookout for that. So we'll move from that, and we can still talk about that tonight. But I also wanted to show you this. This was shown when I saw this particular Aliens in Compton video. If you guys have seen enough videos, you've probably seen this one too, because I know there's a YouTuber that was showing this, but I went and got the video from the source. This was a video of something wild that someone recorded in the trees in South Carolina. Now, you guys tell me what you think this is. I don't have any opinions. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, wait a minute. But as I sat on it for a moment, I'm like, yeah, but it could have been done by doing this, or it could have been done by doing this. Okay, why didn't this happen? Why didn't the person do this? And I started going down that list, right? Just okay, this doesn't make sense, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with this video. Once again, before I play this, not vouching for the validity or authenticity of this video. That what you're seeing is taking place, but I think we can try to figure out why it's taking place or how it's taking place. It's probably a better way to say it. So this is something in the trees in South Carolina. You've probably seen it, but we'll talk about it.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me. I've never seen anything like it in my life. This is the second time I've come over here. And the first time when I got up under them trying to figure out what it was, they started breaking limbs off and throwing them at me. And I still cannot figure out what it is. Look, they're ruining this freaking place. What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is, because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, see, he's coming right above me right here. He's fixing to throw something at me, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't like you messing with them. Look. What in God's name? is going on?
Very strange. Very strange.
Look, that's bigger than me.
The video.
Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down. Something, oh my God, oh my God.
So real quick, this goes on for a few more minutes here. I'll play the full video and then we can talk about it. Definitely weird. It definitely appears to be really happening, whatever is happening, whatever that may be. And then whatever's causing that, we can talk about afterwards, because some people have done some analysis on this video. And I'll tell you what they said, but let's finish watching it here.
Oh, it's gotta be I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and it doing this. It's something stronger than a bear. And he is pissed. Yeah, that's a healthy tree. About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him. I think I'm gonna bounce because I think he just hit the ground, which means he's about to face me on foot. And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear trees down just because they're mad. My God, look at the tree he just freaking broke in half. I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me.
Okay, so that's the video. There was a part, I don't know if it showed it, but almost half of the tree falls down, which is very strange. Half of the whole tree collapses. Literally, like a huge portion of the tree that is actually dangerous, for something like that to happen. Now, okay, let's just go through some of the things that people have picked up right there. See in the middle where that branch dropped? Let me bring it back for a second. If you see where that branch dropped, they point to something like you can see something dropping the branch right there. You see that? I'll bring it back one more time. This is what they're pointing to. So I let you know what they're. So right where the branch drops, what drops it? It appears to be something up there where the branch drops, right? And as you watch, you'll see different parts of the tree move, like whatever the thing is moving around the tree. And this video, I believe, is from 2020, supposedly in South Carolina. All right. So now you know what to look for. When you see the little branches dropping, look closer and see if you see like something there, right? Like not saying what you're seeing, but just tell me if you see something there. Let me go ahead and take this back.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me.
Now he ends up aiming at the areas where whatever is
I've
dropping
never
the
seen anything
sticks.
like it in my life.
So I'm like, okay, if you're faking it, why would you do that? Why would you point to whoever's in the tree if there's a person there right there? So
This is the
whatever it
second
is
time I've come
behind the
over here.
tree, the
And the
foliage,
first
and
time
drops
when I
that.
got up under them trying to figure out what it was, they started breaking limbs off and throwing them at me. And I still cannot figure out what it is. Look, they're ruining this freaking place. What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is. Because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, see, he's coming right above me right here. He's fixing to throw something at me, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't like you messing with them. Look. What in God's name is going on? Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down. Something, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's gotta be I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and it doing this. It's something stronger than a bear. And he is pissed. Yeah, that's a healthy tree. About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him. I think I'm gonna bounce because I think he just hit the ground, which means he's about to face me on foot. And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear trees down just because they're mad. My God, look at the tree he just freaking broke in half.
All right, so we've seen it.
I hope
We
you
can
can
talk
hear
about
this.
it. We can talk about it. What do you think that is? Right? Definitely something strange. Let me see what some people are saying here about this. Let's see. Let me go back a little bit. And I'd be willing to do that, Joe Monk. I'll open my Facebook and we can share it. If you send it to messaging, then I'll show it for sure. We can show it tonight. Hillbilly Herb saying, yeah, this is a weird one. Mike Bothwell saying crazy. Mike Bothwell says DA breaks this down really good on his channel. Dare from Sax says those are some pissed off chipmunks. Joe Monk says something in the trees are pissed. I could probably agree. Joe Monk also wants that guy's flashlight. They have those with the triggers. They're spotlights with the pistol grip handle, right? And the trigger. So I've used some of those before. They are super bright. Anyone who goes out in somewhere where they need to see, you need one of those lights. That's a fact. Hillbilly Herb, not enough to go on for me. KAS, which appears to be a member. Thank you for joining as well. Dogman climb trees as well, right? So we don't know what it is. We have no clue what it is. You don't even see anything to know that it's something, but it's just what you're seeing happen is pretty crazy, right? I'm thinking of a human up there, just the safety aspect. for humans shaking around in the trees up there to make a good video. Very dangerous to do, although not out the realm of possibility, right? And we'll talk about that, things that it could be. Deb from Sac says it looks windy out. Look at the tree in the background, Deb. Where the trees that are in the background, they don't seem to be moving at all. It seems to be only this tree in the foreground, but the tree I can see behind it isn't moving, like the branches or leaves. So I don't think it's windy. But Hillbilly Herb says could be a bear. Maybe there's a bee's nest or something up there, possibly. Dead fish cheese spread. This has got to be fake. That guy would be running for his life. And I thought that, and I think that too. I'm not going to say thought because I do think that too. I don't think you're wrong on that. Dead fish cheese spread is one of the things I thought about. And we'll talk about those things here in a minute. Dead from Sac, lots of leaves falling to looks windy. Yeah, once again, if you look at the trees in the background, those don't seem to be moving. Let's see. Joe Monk says something is in the trees. I can agree, but what? Right? Dead fish cheese spread, gorillas in the tree breaking limbs. Maybe I should go over and see what's going on. Right? Doesn't seem logical to do, right? KAS says it's not fake. Yeah, I think I can agree at least on the front of the video not being fake. Now, who's in the tree? What's making that part happen? I'm out. There's some thoughts that I have there where we could probably say, at least give some ideas on what we're looking at here. Kind of flashlight is this? I think they're called spotlight flashlights. They're like spotlights, really, is what they are, not flashlights. So they're about this big. They're about 8. The lens itself with the filament is like 8 inches. It's a big round one, and you kind of hold it with the trigger, and you hold the trigger, and it lights up everything for good distance. Definitely something that you need in your arsenal. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with this. KS, he seemed pretty freaked out. I can agree with that. And I'm listening to his tone and things of that nature. Still some things I would say, and we'll talk about them here in a minute. Mike Bothwell, yep, think this is real. Let's see. Dead fish, if I'd be standing there, I'd have a knife or an axe. I would definitely have something with all that activity for sure. Dead from Sac is theater of the mind. Could be a well orchestrated situation, right? Could definitely be. Um, Joe Monk says, I can't believe you Flatlander city people. If there's something weird in your yard, you go check it out. You don't run away. You go check it out. Good advice from the outdoorsman, Joe Monk. One way to get you right in the path to somewhere you probably don't want to be if it's something that's going to hurt you. But I hear you, Joe Monk. Dead fish cheese spread. I'd go check out with the gun. I would do so as well. Period. Number one. Definitely doing that for sure. Now this is the crazy part, Joe Monk, right? Tore a whole tree down. At least half of it. Half of the tree came down. And not just like a piddly branch or even a significant piece of a branch. We're talking about half a tree, which looks like down almost to the base of the tree. Like the whole right side of the tree comes down with everything attached to it. And you got to think about power lines, blah, blah, blah. Like if a person was doing this, could they get in over their head and have broken the tree and almost unalive themselves in trying to create a hoax? Maybe. I've seen definitely people that have gone crazy lengths to get views. So yeah, we know that's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Tons of sawdust raining down. I mean, that's how you know whatever's happening is really happening. The tree is definitely being torn apart in some manner. Um, let's see. Finally, extraterrestrials in the hood. I knew it would happen, Seth Kenny. I don't even think these are in the hood, truthfully, but in Compton, yeah, yeah. And do aliens even know what the hood is? Maybe not. Probably not. Let's see. He's calm AF to a degree, and I agree with you on that. To a degree, more calm than I figure I would be. If something's tearing down the tree, hmm, is this how you would react to that? Different people react different ways. It's kind of hard to say immediately, but I think that's definitely somewhere we could go. Um, I like this. This is definitely something to talk about, right? So, flat six is like possible scenario. So, I'll buy you boys some trucker speed and some mad dog if you climb my trees tonight and throw limbs while I videotape it. Yeah, I can see that being a thing. Very, very possible. Let's see. That book Bigfoot is straight out of Compton. That'd be that alien we saw earlier is supposed to be straight out of Compton. This Bigfoot is straight out of or whatever this is. You know what I'm saying? What it is, we don't know. Whatever this is straight out of South Carolina. Let's see. Okay, Deb. I don't know what this means. Is it macabre or Deb says, Monk, I have lots of trees on my property, some huge pine trees. When something is in them, I throw them in my wood chipper. We could look at that a few different ways. Let's see. Now, Seth Kenny, this is what I'm talking about. This is where we start at. And I always say this on the show on After Hours that we understand the phenomenon is real based on other characteristics. So if we understand that much, then we know that anything under that is possible, right? We can't say what isn't possible when we know something is strange. Let's start here. Something is strange is the fact that we're on a rock. Our whole existence as human beings is on this rock, right? That is literally floating in something called space, where all these other things are also floating. And not only are we doing that, but we're rotating at thousands of miles an hour while also orbiting a ball of fire. Like, think about that. That's something that we know that we're doing right now in a space that is apparently infinite, that has no end to it. Right? This is what you've read in your science books. It's in your science books written right now. So if we can think about that, just starting there, and then on top of that, understand that we have enough evidence to show that being visited by something from somewhere else, then that means there's a lot of other things that are very possible. And just the that's why what I'm saying, regardless what side of the conversation you're on, there shouldn't be a quick rush to judgment on a lot of these things because there are so many other things that are unbelievable that we have shown to be true that you have to have an open mind to some of the things that you're hearing. Not only that, right? Not only the space situation, but we also had, by the way, 60-foot lizards walking around on the same ground that you're walking around on. 60-foot lizards. That's crazy. It sounds crazy on the surface, but guess what? It happened. And so you got to realize that there's things that is not going to fit in your wheelhouse. It's certain things that's not going to fit in your current state of thinking, especially if you've been in society for all this time and you finally realize that there's more to what they've told you there is, which is a big problem that I have. How can you be born into this world and then just take this other person's word for how things are supposed to go or what's real or what isn't? What? That doesn't even make sense. So great comment, Seth Kenny. It's stuff all over this planet. People have no idea. Look under sea, and there's going to be endless things that you come across down there that you're like, what planet is that from? Like, there's no way that that's real, and it's sitting right there. So we got to stop with that mindset. That's the big problem with just humanity in general. That's why it's so hard to absorb the types of things that are actually happening, because you're already pre-programmed to believe it's not happening or not possible. And there's too many other things that we know that are possible or that we've proven, just like I said, with space and dinosaurs, that you have to you have to have an open mind. There were pterodactyls flying around, dude. Understand that. Pterodactyls. There was a megalodon shark so big that it could swallow a whale. Right? Crazy to think of, but it's something that we have evidence of, guys. That's why we got to stop with that. So awesome comment. Let me see. Deadfish says about this particular video we're watching. He doesn't even yell, "Hey, stop that." One of the things that I thought about, like, okay, how is he handling this, right? In the moment. Is this how you would handle this in the moment? That's the I don't know part of this, right? Okay. This is one of the things I thought about right here. Poncho Zork. If fake, they're good at faking stuff, winches and ropes. If there was going to be faking to this, I'm thinking that's probably the line that they're going down. Off camera ropes, to pull the branches, the bigger branches. You pull the bigger branches, you're gonna make the smaller branches move, right? That we know that. The smaller branches are attached to the bigger branches. So you have something strong enough to pull on the bigger branches, the smaller branches will probably move. But when I started that, I'm looking at, for instance, the scene in the video right there. Oh, perfect. Right there where that whatever that is drops it out of the tree. It would indicate to me that maybe a person is sitting there that dropped that stick or something right there, right in that hole where that stick comes from. And I'll play it again. That's the part where it's like, okay, more maybe someone's sitting up there and they're the ones throwing these things down, but then you also get the movement of the trees. And a person isn't just going to be able to do that up there. So it would have to be a combination of things, right? Like a person sitting up there moving the trees while someone is pulling on the branches with the rope at the same time, which would obviously put the person in the tree in danger. Now, could they be crazy enough to try something like that? I would say yes, because I've seen people do crazier stuff. It's very possible that that's what's going on. The other part of it that for me was like, I don't know, was the way that the gentleman was responding to this. I mean, he seemed concerned and it was very descriptive of the video. But my thought was 6-minute video, 911 should be already called. 911 should already be a part of this equation. So we should hear sirens in the distance of approaching law enforcement or something. There's no way that you allow this incident to happen and you're not afraid enough to be like, I just like as he said in the video, it's on the ground. I don't want to see what this is. I don't want to be confronted by what this is. Well, either you have enough, you know, ammo on you in the moment. I mean, we just don't see it and we don't know that you're armed at the moment with something probably pretty big, AR-15, AK-47, something along those lines that could probably do some damage to something. So you're not afraid and you don't feel like you need to call law enforcement in this moment. I could see that, right? So that could explain why, okay, you're not super trying to get someone else or you're not trying to reach out to law enforcement. It could simply be you have something that you're armed with that will handle the situation. And down there in South Carolina is not far off to think that maybe that's the attitude or the outlook of whoever is filming this, right? But that's kind of what I thought about when I was looking at this is, and let me get a little more current on the on the comments here. Let's go through a couple here. Death is cheese spread on damn gorillas are up in the tree ripping branches off again. Dad from Sack, the footage is real. Let's see. Maybe he does. Maybe he does, Poncho Sword. You think he'd have a follow up video showing the damage on the ground? Would like to see its limbs, the limbs that fell. I would too. And maybe that's something someone can look into, guys. This is out there on the internet. People have looked through this and vetted this, um, or attempted to at least. Let me see. Okay. Hillbilly Herb. I feel like the branches were cut as opposed to broken off. It's raining sawdust after that big hunk goes down. And it could be, but where's now are you talking about with just like a hand saw maybe? Possibly. Yeah. I mean it could be. They could simply be cutting branches down because of electrical lines or it could be some simple as that. I agree. Let's see. Uh, Hillbilly Herb, he's pretty intent on showing us what's going on, but doesn't really try too hard to show us what's in there. Just describes it a bit. I get that too. And I was saying he does. I give him at least he focuses on the area where the branch is going to fall, and maybe that's a clue right there that you happen to actually get this in frame. Uh, the whatever it is throwing the branch out that could make sense on why you were able to catch that. Um, and my thing was, and just tell me if this is far off. I originally felt like when I saw this, I was like, think I see like a guy with a ghillie suit in the tree. Like, is there a guy with a ghillie suit in the tree up there doing this? Because when you see the movements, it seems like whatever it is kind of blends in with the foliage in the tree. And so I'm like, is that a ghillie suit? Is that a guy with the ghillie suit up there blending into the leaves? Obviously, it's to be invisible, which you would be if you've seen really good ghillie suits. If the person was sitting in that tree with a really good ghillie suit, you would not see them. And I've been watching a lot of ghillie suit videos lately. They have a lot of different type of ghillie suits that they wear. There's one that has actual leaves on it, like would be in this tree, this exact coloration, and where if the person sat right there in those trees, you would not see the person in the ghillie suit. So I felt there was some of that going on. But the thing that was like, well, I don't know, is because you'll see, okay, the branch dropped here, but then the movement went over here, and you see the movement go over there. I'm like, nah, a guy in the ghillie suit isn't going to be able to do all that. So that kind of was what took it off the table. It's like, I don't know about a ghillie suit or a person actually being there doing that. And it kind of led me back to maybe some sort of animal moving through the trees, but the breaking of the branches, that part still was getting to me. Um, so I had some thoughts on this, but let me go ahead and try to because we're behind on the chat. Let me try to get as current as we can. And also, if you have videos you want to show that are some just are unexplainable and like wow, go ahead and send them to my Facebook. I'll bring those up and we can do that. Yeah. Seymour Glass, I'll bring your comment up. I mean, it makes sense. In the absence of evidence, you can believe whatever you choose to. No more real than my own delusions. You don't usually record delusions. That's the only argument I would have against that. Delusions are usually can't be recorded. Like if you can record a delusion and show it, I think that's pretty epic. The delusions usually happen just within your mind. So I don't know. Yeah, there's backstory. Obviously, I'm sure that hopefully is obtainable on this issue. I don't know that there is. It could be just something that popped up one day. Um, let me see. Yeah, I would have done the same thing you probably did, set up all night watching the area. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see the follow-up video because you didn't just pull your phone out one time and just record this. You didn't have the after show where you're like, "Whoa, what in the hell was that?" And where you're trying to ponder what in the world this could have been. There should be a video about that happened right after this, or at least a record of a conversation that you had with someone after this, trying to think it through, like what in the hell could this have been? And I don't know that there is or isn't. And I just saw this video earlier on YouTube, and I was like, you know what, it'd be interesting to show because it's very compelling. Maybe there's some more they can go into figuring out what the result of this was. Let's see. Okay, now this makes sense too on the police aspect. Flat six, if I called the cops, I'm looking at a 3-4 hour wait. And that's if they show up, which is 50-50. I have to take care of something like this myself, at least until morning. Very possible. And that's what those people in Hopkinsville, Kentucky dealt with in 1955. They couldn't just call anyone. It was, they had phones, but totally different time, obviously. And, they ended up in that story. They had to run out of the house after hours of torment and hop in the car, all 10 of them, and drive down to the town police station. So, yeah, if you're rural, that makes total sense. You got to kind of handle it yourself and then worry about the police later. Let's see. Yeah, it's the predators. The Deadfish Cheese Spread says that's where that whole blending thing, people talk about that with some of these kind of weird sightings where they see this shimmering sort of predator sort of effect. And I thought about that with that movement, but then I was like, okay, maybe a ghillie suit could produce that same effect. Because if you're looking at leaves and then you see something dressed in leaves moving through the leaves, then it may also create that predator effect. I'm thinking, right? Makes sense that that's what you would get. Um, if we had an example of that, let's see. Yeah, funny you said brought this up, Deadfish. Who says it's just like Blair Witch camera movement and relaxed talking equals scary. And I actually just watched a Bigfoot movie, right? Because I'm like, let me find out more because I'm not going to the woods. I'm not anytime soon, I'll say, to look for a Bigfoot, right? So I saw Joe Rogan mention this movie that you have to watch, this Bigfoot movie. He swears by it. It's a great movie. And it's called Willow Creek. So if you've ever watched it out there, or if you haven't, it's a Blair Witch style Bigfoot movie. And I'll just say the way I walked away from that movie, if I had to make a decision, a determination on what is the nature or mannerism of Bigfoot, I'd have to walk away and say it's probably not the guy you want to meet, right? So I would love for Bigfoot people who have seen Bigfoot or have come across Bigfoot, go watch that movie and tell me if that's the gist of or the experience that you get, because it's important to know the answer to that. Let's see. All right, coming down the list here. I think I'm almost current. Yep, we are current. Yeah, this is true. They never show, but it's like, ooh, when you some of the scenes, you're kind of like, ooh, wee. I can imagine that being. And when I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking of Dave and Tim in the forest, right? I'm like, I know they're not out there dealing with this, or they probably go home before it becomes nighttime. I'm thinking, but and I also thought about Lee and Jax out there and the story that she tells. I'm like, well, sounds like if you've seen this movie, sounds like Bigfoot would be doing more than groping, is what I'm gonna say. But yeah. So with that being said, let's go ahead and run this video back with sound for anyone who might be coming late. But I would recommend the Willow Creek. This is what I'll say about Willow Creek. It's obviously a Blair Witch Project clone. Okay, that's where I'll start. That's what I'll take away from it. Like, because of that fact, you just pretty much copy Blair Witch. But just the kind of the thought process that went into the behavior of the Sasquatch, that's the part where I'm like, okay, is that true or is that authentic? So once again, people who've experienced Bigfoot, go see it and let me know what you thought about that. But let me go ahead and see. We're going to play this again with the audio for anyone who might just have gotten here. We'll bring it back to where we started and get ready to wrap this thing on up. Let's see. Right, this is the guy's video. It's the one he put out. This is his audio, his reaction.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me. I've never seen anything like it in my life. This is the second time I've come over here. And the first time when I got up under them trying to figure out what it was, they started breaking limbs off and throwing them at me. And I still cannot figure out what it is. Look, they're ruining this freaking place. What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is. Because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, see, he's coming right above me right here. He's fixing to throw something at me, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't like you messing with them. Look. What in God's name is going on? Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down. Something, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's gotta be I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and it doing this. It's something stronger than a bear. And he is pissed. Yeah, that's a healthy tree. About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him. I think I'm gonna bounce because I think he just hit the ground, which means he's about to face me on foot. And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear trees down just because they're mad. My God, look at the tree he just freaking broke in half. I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas.
All right, and looking at this comment here from Nachos. Monkeys escaped, and shortly after this video was filmed and uploaded, could it be those monkeys? I had heard that as well, and I was thinking about that, and I read the story. I think I want to say, and I have to, man, I'll verify 100% on this because this video isn't, at the source. It's hard to tell. I'm hearing 2022 is when this came out. I want to say 2020 was thrown around. This is somewhere in that range. Now, when I did hear the monkey story, I'm like, okay, could this be that? And I'm like, well, he's not making any noises, although the movement would be very, very close to what you would see monkeys and just the okay, it's here now, it's there. Okay, it's moving around really fast, like you would see a monkey move. And I thought about that, and I found a story on that. As I'll go ahead and get ready to bring that up here. Let me bring that up here. There were some research monkeys that had gotten loose out in South Carolina. This just happened, I think, within the last year, or actually maybe less than a year. Let me bring this up here. All right, I do have that story. Let me see if I can bring that up here. All right, is this on screen? All right, bring this up. All right, I'll read it off to you here. This is okay. 39 escaped monkeys captured in South Carolina. 4 remain on the loose. All the recovered primates are in good health, police said. Nearly all of the macaque monkeys that escaped from a South Carolina lab have been recovered as of Monday evening, and this is obviously November 18th, 2024. The story comes out. Nearly all of the rhesus macaque monkeys that escaped the South Carolina lab have been recovered as of Monday evening. 39 of the 43 furry runaways have been successfully captured. That leaves 4 free after the cohort broke loose from the Alpha Genesis Primate Research Center in Yemassee on November 6th. So, assuming these things all broke out November 6th of 2024, so that's be about 8 months ago. This video is reported to be from at least a couple of years back, if not older than that, although we probably could find more information on that. The primates have been seen close to the research facility on Saturday and seem to be in good spirits and good health, dancing and running about in the trees, according to a statement from the Alpha Genesis CEO. 2 were recovered the following day. My background is in behavioral primatology, and I was present when the 2 animals were recovered today. I can attest with absolute certainty that their spirits were high and they showed all the outward signs of being happy, well adjusted monkeys. Westgard was confident that the recovery efforts will continue smoothly. 2 other monkeys were spotted near the traps throughout the afternoon. He said, "We are very pleased that the animals recovered thus far are in such good condition and that they show no ill effect from their outdoor adventure." His predictions proved accurate when 2 more of the escapees were captured on Monday, leaving just 4 on the loose. Efforts to safely capture the remaining primates will continue throughout the evening and as long as necessary. A team of the Yosemite Police Department said. A team of veterinarians, which have been brought in to conduct wellness exams, have also said that all the recovered primates are in good health. All of the monkeys recovered previously continue to be in excellent health, still feasting on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches as well as monkey biscuits, Westgard said. Yosemite officials said that a significant number of the escaped primates were located in a facility near where the rescued animal was found and were jumping back and forth over the facility's fence. Alpha Genesis management and staff on site actively feeding and monitoring the animals. They will continue these efforts throughout the weekend, the town's official said in a statement. The primates continue to interact with their companions inside the facility, which is a positive sign, they added. The creatures escaped when a new employee at the Alpha Genesis Center left the door to their enclosure open, probably fired immediately. Yosemite Town Administrator Matthew Garn said during a briefing last Thursday with town officials. The primates are all very young females weighing 6 to 7 pounds each who have never been tested, according to the police. There is no public health threat, police said. Recovery efforts will continue until all the monkeys are recovered, police said, and requested the public call 911 if they spot any of the remaining animals. We thank the public for their cooperation in avoiding the area and kindly ask that drones not be used in the vicinity, police said. Okay, so in that story, there was something around floating around that maybe it ended up being the monkeys. Well, the monkeys are from November 6th, they stated, of 2024. I guess one quick way that we could confirm or deny if they're related to this particular story is just to see how long ago the first story was posted on these monkeys. That would at least give us a time frame. um Let me see. Just want to see here what we come back with. Okay. Looking back, and the oldest thing I can see.
Loophole that states use to boost the Medicaid funds they get from the government. Critics, including some Republicans.
Well, listening to propaganda. Let me see here. And I don't see anything. Can you guys see what I'm looking at? Let me see. Okay, yeah, you can. I'm looking back on this, and I'm just as far as like review videos or when people first started picking up on this, and see this one said 2022, but I'm not. I'm seeing like people actually reacting has only been in the last 6 months. Let me see what this is from 2022, and this is not the same thing. Let me see here. Yeah, everything I'm seeing is 6 months ago. Truthfully, all the reviews, anytime anyone has touched the topic. So this could very well likely be those same monkeys. Could very well be that. Could be as simple as that. Case closed. I'm sure someone else can look further into this to determine that. Might be that those were the same monkeys. It definitely, the movement would appear to be something like you would get from a monkey. If I was thinking about how a monkey would move in the tree, that's what I would depict. That's what I would think would be. I could very well see that, but them not making calls is weird. Do they run around and not make calls? I'm sure they do. But usually whenever you see them on film, they're making some sort of noise to indicate communication between each other. They're usually not just silent, but maybe they were doing that because they felt the guy's presence was a threat, and that's why they weren't making noises. Could be something simple as that. But I think there might be enough there to say as that might be tied to that. Very good chance. You don't just have monkeys loose every day from the exhibit, um, from the research center, right, all over the country, and then specifically in this same particular state. Now, I'm sure there's a little bit further you can look into, but I think there's enough to say maybe that's exactly what it was. It would make sense. And could they break limbs like that? Why not? I don't see a reason why they couldn't do that. Only thing would be just the no noise. Now, if that's a thing, then yeah, maybe we can go with that. But that might be case closed. That might be case closed on that. Could be very well. There's a lot of evidence points towards it. Very likely that could be the case. Very likely that might be the case. So, with that being said, then we will park and lot that one because I don't think, unless something comes out that points to more going on there, then I think that's something we could probably parking lot right now or put up and then just go back to where we started. The alien video. We'll play it again for anybody who hasn't seen it. This is the thing that social media is going crazy over right now. Whether or not there's just in doing that, it be up to you at the end of the day. But this is the video right here. Once again, courtesy the Hidden Underbelly YouTube channel.
Okay, guys, we've got a piece of footage of what I can only describe as an alien-looking creature. So, guys, let's take a look at the footage, and then we'll have a real quick chat afterwards. Here's what I know about this footage. This was captured off this Ring doorbell camera at this lady's house on June the 6th, 2025, just after 1 a.m. Now, in the footage, we can see this alien-like creature. I mean, look at its head. It's a very weird shape. The size of the creature, I'm judging this at about 3 to 4 feet. And the color, this is looking like a bluey gray creature of the typical grays. Now remember, there are two types of grays. There are the tall ones and there are the small ones. But what could this be? Now, could this be somebody in an elaborate costume? Well, this would have to be a very small person. A child being out at 1 a.m. in the morning, that's kind of, I can't see that happening, but it's not out of the realm.
Another thing that bothers me on this particular video as we take a pause on it is it just, for me, and maybe it just seems 2D, two-dimensional. Doesn't it? I don't see any 3D characteristics to this at all. And maybe I'm just looking too far into it, but let's go back a little bit. It doesn't seem to be, seems to be 2D. I don't see any three dimensionality, we'll call it that. I don't see any of that going on here.
Alien-like creature. I mean, look at its head. It's a very weird shape. The size of the creature, I'm judging this at about 3 to 4 feet. And the color, this is looking like a bluey gray creature of the typical grays. Now remember, there are two types of grays. There are the tall ones and there are the small ones. But what could this be? Now, could this be somebody in an elaborate costume? Well, this would have to be a very small person. A child being out at 1 a.m. in the morning, that's kind of,
It almost seems like a cardboard cutout, right? It doesn't seem to be like a full thing to me. I don't know.
I can't see that happening, but it's not out of the realms. But what do you think about this intriguing and weird piece of footage? So until next time, stay blessed and keep safe.
All right. So with that being said, that's where we'll leave that weird video just circulating right now. There's some things that there's not anything that I can walk away from, from this video and just point to anything that's a smoking gun, right? I could. There's some aspects that make it seem like it's actually in this frame, which does. Now you have to go further than that. Now you have to say, okay, if it's in this frame, okay, is it a living thing or is it what is it? What could it be? And the fact that it looks like a cardboard cutout in the frame where it passes by, I just don't see any definition to anything. And a lot of experiences talk about cloaking, and maybe it's some of that. I don't know. I don't know if I go as far as to say that, but it definitely looks two-dimensional. Doesn't look three-dimensional. Whereas when you have, once again, the Dobby video, which is obviously a three-dimensional object. People will continue to think that this is a kid, but I'm going to leave you with this. Just do your homework on this one. I think, if anything, this is the real video. Based on what I know about it, just based on what I've been through looking at it and scouring the internet for information and proof that this has been debunked, I lean into saying more that this is authentic than the other video. But once again, this is all for you guys to figure out. You know, be the sleuths out there, put the clues together. I've gone so far as to map out this area, through Google Maps, um, Google Street View, even where you can see the actual street level arrangement of this neighborhood. So I've been as far as doing that. I've looked at the frames of this video and frames that are very questionable. So I've done enough research to find things that really don't line up with this being anything that we would consider to be human. So this is for you guys to go off and do your research with. I would love to see where you guys end up finding out about this, or what you're able to add to this conversation, whether it disproves it or approves it. Either way. But I think this one has been put up against a lot of different tests and still has not met that level of, okay, this has been debunked. Still hasn't been done. So maybe you'd be the first one out there to do it. That'd be awesome. Or maybe you're the first one to bring it home to say, yeah, I've looked at all these different things, and this is why it is definitely not human. I would love to hear both sides of those conversations, guys. It'd be awesome if you could chime in and do your part out there, run it through some filters, maybe break it down frame by frame yourself, and maybe see some things that I didn't see. Think that would be awesome, but I think that's where we'll leave this one tonight. Nice, tight, concise look at just some of the weird stuff going on out there. If you have any other weird videos or things out there, definitely make sure that you send those to me, and we'll make sure that we take a look at them, because why not? If it's evidence, if they haven't already been thoroughly debunked, from end to end, to where there's absolutely no doubt that these things are not authentic, then let's not waste our time on those. But ones that still have no answers, let's look at those, because why not? They give us something to do on the late night show. I know we have some new people out there that watch the show that may not be in chat tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming on out. I do appreciate you all. We do this often. If you're new to this channel, we are a pro-humanity focused channel. We're just about getting answers, finding the truth. However that truth comes, and how harsh the reality of that truth is, we're still here for that, and that's what we get together and do, especially on these late night shows where normally this would be you calling in, talking about your experience. We'll get back to doing some of that on this show for sure, no doubt. And with that being said, we also have other shows here: the Definitive UFO News Show. We have the Social Dig. We have my experience with the phenomena. So a lot of good stuff going on in this channel. Would appreciate if you would consider taking a moment, actually hitting the like button before we even leave here tonight. Can we get the people that are watching, if you wouldn't mind, hit the like or dislike, whatever side you're on. Just appreciate some input either way. Also, yeah, people that are new out there, normally this is a show where you could call in. So maybe in the future we'll get you to call in and talk about your experience with the phenomena. Outside of that, I think it's been a great show tonight. Depending on what we have going on, we may fire another one of these up tomorrow night, or at least sometime this weekend. So just be on the lookout. Make sure the notification bell is hit. It has been a pleasure hanging out with you guys here tonight. Let me go ahead and make sure that we give our closing shout outs to our members. Memberships are definitely available out there. You saw the list, long list of great people who are helping this show be what it is. Those people are, as of, and this may be out of date, there may be new people as well, so forgive me if you're not on this particular list, but T-Bone, The Beekeeper, Dean Unley, Maggie M10, Flat 6, Miss Catherine Jones, Leanne Bridges, Polly Rodderman, Lil Camp 51, Frankie B, Fast Timmy, Deb from Sacramento, Race Fan with the gold, Magneticus, Woo Riders DG, Area 51, Tamothman, and you guys, any of you out there can become a member at any time. Link is in the description. Basically, just helps make sure we put on the best show possible, that we have the ability to do so as we continue to raise the bar here. Also, the phone number, which will be good for these call-in shows. Normally, you would call in. So the number is 856-843-3444. That's 856-THE-DIGG. If you're outside the United States, dial 001 first, and then 856-843-3444 or 001-856-THE-DIGG. Either way it goes, we'd appreciate you guys coming on through, hanging out, having the conversations that move the needle, because we do this for one reason and one reason, period, and that is going to be for what you see right here, the positive progression of humanity. Is as I view it, that's, if you look below all those people, that's all of us, that's everyone. Black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever you are, whatever walk of life you come from, that you're there. That's all of us, and we're all together trying to figure out what in the world is going on in this world that we are just beginning to understand, or we really don't understand, or we're trying to understand. So as we go on this journey, it's awesome that you guys kind of hang out and have these conversations that help get us there. It has been a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight. Hope to see you back here next time as we do this again. I'm going to leave you with a commercial, and then we'll get you out of here. You guys all take care. Thanks for coming in. Also, I got to give a shout out because we did have actually super chat, and I missed it last time we did a show. Deb from Sacramento, thank you so much for your support of the show and letting people know that you can super chat to help the show. Is definitely something that's there and is something that is appreciated anytime, and anything you can give, from $1 to anything. It doesn't matter. Outside of that, though, you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll see you soon. Take care. Welcome to the Social Shop, courtesy of the Social Dig. I am Mr. Rob G, and we are bringing you exclusive gear, and tonight's no different. We have humanity t-shirts, the positive progression of humanity. Yes, you can go out into the world and proudly show everyone what humanity means to you. $32.99, and remember, if you're a social soldier, you get an additional 20% off the price. That's right, being a social soldier gets you an additional 20% off. And keep in mind, depending where you are in the world, shipping fees and taxes will be applied. Bringing you exclusive gear right here at the Social Shop on the Social Dig.